Hello from Charles J. Stecker Jr. I am a childhood abuse prevention and intervention specialist who utilizes my own life experiences as both my educational background and platform from which I write and speak on empowering children with their right to live an abuse-free childhood, in addition to enlightening all adults of their responsibilities to being positive parental role models, whether they have children or not. Children need their child welfare system overhauled. The family was designed by God to be that child welfare system, not the government or non-government agencies. Let's get to reconstructing and strengthening the child welfare system. It is our responsibility as adults to protect the rights of the children. The only adult excused from this calling is any adult who was never a child. Well, I'm Charlie. I appreciate everyone being here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to present. Has anyone had an opportunity to grab this flyer? If not, I will personally bring it to you. If anybody needs one. What I'm going to be talking about tonight is something that none of us were taught in growing up, and it's called the child welfare system known as family. Okay? Because at the end of the day, children aren't born into the government, they're not born into these agencies, they're born into families. And families have been decimated and taken apart all around the world, around our communities. And I'm going to show you tonight in a short bit of time as much as I can about this, so that way we can go over it. What I did here is I just kind of created a really short synopsis of some of the things we're talking about. Anyone else need one over there? Okay, here we go. I'm get my exercise on. Get my 10,000 steps in. There you go. How about back here? All right. So I'm going to start off with. There you go. Thanks, brother. That'll help me out. All right. All right. So first of all, the goal of reforming the family child welfare system is to offer support and resources to adults in a family where child abuse and neglect is suspected and or happening, while keeping children safe within their family of origin. Now, you're speaking to someone who spent 10 years in foster care. I am going to be ending this with another video, and I'm going to be putting out a request for everybody to help me out with something. It's a 54-year project I've been working on, and I really need all the support I can to get some more work on that. But that being said, I know the system intimately, almost too intimately. And I know the failures and I know the successes. And I know that here I am at 58 years young with a 55-year-old sister that I have zero relationship with because we didn't grow up together. And had we been able to stay within our family of origin, we would have a relationship. I don't know what it would be, but we'd have one, all right? So I came up with this idea as I was thinking about what could we do different, how can we make a better outcome for our children? In addition to, I also sit on Monroe County's Children Youth Advisory Board, and I'm getting ready to be appointed to the Pennsylvania State Children Youth Advisory Board. Blessed to be doing those things. But I'm looking at this, what can we do? Children are not born into these systems. And these systems have come into the lives of children. Sometimes they need to, sometimes because abuse is going on and things like that. And that's why the focus for me is abuse. All right? In my case, there was found in abuse. By the age of 2, I'd already had my skull fractured twice. I had already had teeth knocked out, all kinds of crazy stuff. But God had a plan, so it doesn't matter what happened to me. That's where I am today that matters. But I understand how it works. I was put in foster care at the age of 3 along with my brother and my sister. I'm going to be sharing a video at the end of this, which I didn't get a chance to tell you about. I'm going to end it with a video. I'm not going to talk much about what that video is going to be, so I don't want to tell more of that portion of the story. But after 10 years in foster care, I was returned to my biological mother, who was my original abuser. And when I was sent home to her, I had an appointment to Annapolis Naval Academy, and I already had an opportunity. I was already had it set up for an academic scholarship to a major high school. And when I got home to Mom, it was, you're never going to be anything. You're a scumbag bum. Your dad's no good. I was fed drugs, alcohol, locked in a basement for 2.5 years, duct tape, which is why I can't wear a mask, and all kinds of crazy stuff. But someone greater than me had a plan, because here I am today doing the work. And I kept saying, we got to do something different. Now, what doesn't happen is what I'm going to be teaching about, or what I'm going to be talking about. And I'm watching my time, so I'm being cognizant of it. The idea here, which is the second bullet point here, is showing all adults in the family will be responsible for the welfare of all children in their family. Now, I'm not just talking about mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. I'm talking about second, third cousins. Okay? I'm talking about way out as far as we need to go. When I founded the International Child Abuse Prevention Task Force, through that, we had a group of 4,000 people around the country that when we got a report of abuse, we didn't call any child welfare agencies. We didn't call the police department initially, okay? We immediately went and researched the family. Because the people that can protect the child the most are the family members, because they know the bad apple, they know what's going on, but they don't know how to react. They don't know what to do. They don't know their rights. They don't even know their responsibilities. We teach them that. One of the things, if you don't know it already, the state of Pennsylvania is one of the few states that recognizes grandparents' rights. So if you are a grandparent in the state of Pennsylvania and you have one of your grandchildren going through something, you can step in and immediately take action and keep the child welfare system out of your family. They're not out there looking for kids, but when they get them, they want to keep them. Because why? It generates money. It's money, money, money. It's, keep them in services, keep the money rolling. One moment. When I sit on that board, we just had our meeting Wednesday. Yesterday afternoon. I told them, my position here is to put all of us out of business. I want to put child welfare out of business because you're not going to be needed anymore, because we're going to be teaching families what to do. I told them what I was doing tonight. They didn't want me on their board when I first got on there because they knew my past, and you're going to find out a little more at the end of the presentation here. But I talked to them and I said, but I'm coming there as the voice of the child. I could care less about any of you. When I help parents out, and we eventually will have some of the parents I've been blessed to help out coming, I don't go there to help mom and dad. I don't care to grandma and grandpa. It's that child. And we have to look at from the child's voice. She wanted to ask something. Go ahead.
If you reside in Pennsylvania but your grandchildren live in a different state, does that?
You can apply for custody in Pennsylvania. Wow. And I'll help you with that. I'll show you how to do it all pro se. I've done it already in many of them throughout the state. So I can help you with that, get all the paperwork, all right? And you can file, as long as you file in the county, you file here, we'll get you rolling, all right? So that being said, it's teaching families, and what will come up from that? We'll promote stronger communication between families. We might even bring families together that don't even talk to each other. How many of us have family members that we don't even communicate with? But there's children that need help, okay? We go, oh wait a minute, I'm not going over there because they do such and such. Well, if they do such and such, and they have children, you got to look past what they're doing. You got to look what you got to do for that child.
That's right.
And those children. You can't allow that to block you, because that's how the government comes into lives. And guess what? The child is who gets hurt. The adults, they cry, oh, mom and dad rights and all that. A mother, and I'm a father, so I can speak to this straight firsthand. I never had rights to my child. Never. I had a responsibility to protect her rights. Parents have responsibilities to protect the rights of the children, not ownership of the children. There shouldn't be such thing as custody. Custody means ownership. There's no custody. How can you own your child? You don't. They're their own individual being that you're supposed to enlighten and empower to grow into who they want to become, into the world would have them to be in their heart, whatever you put there. Okay, so the outcome will be stronger communication. We'll enhance stability in the lives of the children. We'll improve consistency and will provide better outcomes for the children by using family. Okay, we know the bad apple. Another one of the things, the method. Let's go into that. Every adult family member will be responsible to check on the well-being of all children in their family. They will be responsible to provide immediate assistance when necessary to support the best outcome for the children. Let me ask anybody a question here. If there was any child abuse going on, that's my phone, who cares? It'll be there later. If there was any child abuse going on that you heard of in your family, what's the first thing you would do? Just throw out answers. I'm listening.
Get them out of there.
Call child services. I heard somebody. Get them out of there. I heard somebody say, I'm listening. I'm listening. Call child
Confront
services.
them, yeah.
One of my nieces or nephews, I'd drive to that house.
Right. Okay. And exactly. That's the key. Do not call child welfare first. Do not call child welfare first. They shouldn't even be a call you have to make at all. Okay? The first thing you do is you get there to the child. Now, what do you do when you get there? Do you go knock on the door? Oh, I know you're abusing the kid. Nah, because you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to escalate a situation that's already probably escalated. So a de-escalation technique is, hey, I want to take so-and-so out for a pizza or a mini golf. I want to take him out for a day and spend some time with him. Once you get that child with you, you then go to your local law enforcement. You file for an immediate PFA, protection from abuse order, for the child in their behalf, and you'll be assigned temporary guardianship pending the court order. Okay. Now, this is where the tricky parts come in: timing. Because once you make that report, the police are under mandates to report to child welfare. That's when you reach out to me, and everybody here will have my phone number, and anybody you know, send them. What I do is, I'll give you an exact example. It happened just outside Philadelphia. Grandfather called me, let me know what was going on with his grandchild, asked me what to do. Told him, go grab the grandchild, take him for the day, whatever you want to do. So they went pizza. He called me, says, I have him. I said, good, go to the police department. While you're going to the police department, I'll call your daughter, who was the one that was doing the neglecting. So I'm on the phone with the daughter, and I say to her, listen, this is what's going down right now. We don't have time to talk, you have time to make a decision. You're going to either get the help you need, because your father, the child's grandfather, is getting temporary custody as we speak. I said, and I've already got him filing the paperwork and all the court systems ready to go. I have all the pro se paperwork lined up when we go. And I said, and what you're going to do is you have two choices to make right now. One is to get the help you need, and I can get you into a program. I'm blessed to have connections all over where people can get into programs that are abusers. A lot of abusers don't want to abuse. It's a learned behavior. That's an excuse. It was a learned behavior for me. I didn't carry it on to my daughter. But sometimes they don't know how to overcome it. So I give them an opportunity. If they don't want to, guess what? There's no family court. We need to get rid of family court. Family court's an aberration. More criminal activity goes on in family court that never gets brought before a judge. You're going to know more about why I know about that in a little while when I'm wrapping up. All right? Family courts need to go, because what we do, as I told her, I said, what I will be doing if you choose not to do this, and you can choose whatever you want, but your choice develops will create your consequence. I will have your father file criminal charges. You will go to criminal court, and you will end up in an adult jail for what you're doing to this child. And what do you want to do? You don't have time to guess. You don't have time to wait. I don't have time for an answer. Tell me now. Because while we're speaking, the police are going to notify child welfare. Child welfare is going to show up. And what she didn't know is I already know how to keep the child out of foster care because the grandfather already has custody by the time they get there. But I said, your child's going to end up in foster care. Is that what you want? Of course, she said no. Right, so what the short version of that story, when it got to coming, when they showed up, when child welfare showed up, because they have to, mandated reporting, they have to show up, they have to come, every one of their protocols was met. The child wasn't removed, the child stayed in the home with the grandfather, his daughter went and got the help she needed, she was able to stop the behavior patterns that she had started, and 8 years later, 9 years later, because it was a year before I moved up here, they're doing well, I keep in touch with them. Every child's life that I've been blessed to be a part of, I stay in touch with them. Doesn't matter how old, and I've been doing this for 30 years. I have grown adults that were kids that I came along with. So we can all do something, all right? And it's about just learning. What are the outcome we're looking for? The outcome is children will be able to remain within their families. Why is that so important? When you take a child away from their family, they're losing their culture, their identity. They're losing so much of who they are, and they're wandering the rest of their lives wondering, what am I? You know, how am I going to get somewhere? And the lack of support. Okay? When I was in Philadelphia, the head of the family court in Philadelphia was Judge Kevin Doherty. You may know his name. He sits on the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court now. When I met with him the first time, I talked to him about kinship care and the idea behind it, what we can do and how we can keep children within the family structure. And his first combative answer to me was, well, Charlie, if we put them back in the home, then the abusers can get to them. And I said, let me help you understand something, Judge. When you get the right family member that knows the bad apple, they're going to better protect that child than anybody you can put in there.
That's right.
And I said, I'm going to tell you firsthand, right here in your city of Philadelphia, unsupervised visits. When I was taking my mother to visit unsupervised visits at a hotel room with a person, social worker, or whoever they were, sitting in the room, I was abused, and he says, well, how's that possible? I said, abuse isn't always hitting. It isn't always yelling. My mother would come up and whisper in my ear and grab me by the back of my arm right here and pinch it and say different things. And the end video is going to kind of show you what it'll all come together for you. And she would tell me horrible things and then go ahead, cry, go ahead, do something. And I just learned to smile and stand there and take it. They had no idea what was going on. Yet a family member is going to know how that works. And I showed them, I said, and so we started working that, and we started creating kinship care in Philadelphia. And they've gotten better at it, they're still working on it. Whenever you have humans involved, you're going to have frailties, you're going to have mistakes, nothing's going to be perfect. I will tell you, one of the things I'm very proud of sitting on Monroe County's Children's Advisory Board is that this county is one of the only ones in the entire state that I know of that their main focus is keeping the child within the family structure. The very first thing they do is look out for family members. Even if a child has to go in an emergency placement, they're on the phone with all of us, and we're background checking, we're looking to see what we can do to get that child back in the family structure. That is so beautiful. Right now, as of yesterday, there are 133 children in the child welfare system in Monroe County. The numbers are low. The adjudicated numbers, which is, those of you who don't know how the budget works for child welfare, adjudicated kids, which means children got caught up in some sort of legal thing that aren't in custody of the child welfare system, are still paid for through Monroe County Children and Youth. That's the majority of that budget. Our budget's been cut already because we didn't need the amount of money. Those adjudicated kids have died off. What has not died off, and what's very concerning to all of us, is abuse cases are rising. And they're rising at a time when the abused is being locked down with the abuser. They don't have that escape. School was my escape. School is how I got away. All right? But we'll also have children will aid them to grow stronger, be safer, better prepared for the futures, And fewer children will end up in the government and private child welfare systems. There is a need for those systems, but they don't need to be the first line of defense. They need to be the last thing, the last place that we go to. If we teach and we learn how to actually do things within our family. Now, those of you who haven't had an opportunity, some of you I know might have peeked already. If you want to know who's a member of the child welfare, the family child welfare system, turn the back of the page over. Any of those people you see on the back of that is a member of the family child welfare system. That is your family. Anybody on there. Okay? And if you look at it, that covers everybody. Anybody is a mandated reporter. Who do you report to? You report to each other. You look out for that child. You get together if you know something's going on. Maybe you know there's another strong family member. Maybe you can't do it on your own. Maybe you need the help of someone else. Then get them. That's how we do it. We do. A lot of people. What's that?
The families. We support families.
Right.
Strong families.
And who's at the bottom? Friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, you hear something going on the other side of that wall. I don't want to hear that. Of course, I grew up in row homes, so maybe you don't have walls with people next door, but you can feel what's going on. 8 years ago today, I was in California, in Sacramento, with a guy that most of you probably never heard of, John Walsh. I was sitting with John Walsh, and we know his story of what happened to his son, and he taught me a lot, and a lot of things I learned from him out there. We had done a cross-country motorcycle run from Sacramento to Washington, D.C. and back inside of a week or 2 weeks. So, we rode across the country, hit D.C., I spoke at the law enforcement memorial there, and then we rode back out to Sacramento. And I didn't realize it was 8 years ago today, as time flies. We can do something. We've got to do something. Children of today are the adults of tomorrow. If they don't see us doing something now, what are we expecting them to do for us when it comes to their turn to take care of us?
That's right.
You are responsible for the children in your family, even if they're your third or fourth, fifth cousins. We have to stop ignoring our duties and stop reaching out to government. Every time we reach out to the government for another one of their services, we hook another string to the marionette.
That's right.
Another string to the puppet. And they have so many strings on us, there's next to nothing we can do, except start cutting them off. So when it comes to child welfare, I'm going to show you how to snip those strings, yet better protect the children. If you know anybody looking for somebody to come in and speak, youth programs, adults, I speak to all age groups, it doesn't matter. I've been blessed to speak. When I worked for the Philadelphia Eagles, I got to do a whole presentation to the entire stadium that was there. It's not about me. I could care less about me. It's about the kids. And in a moment, you're going to find out why. Okay, I'm going to warn you that you're going to be watching about a 3 or 4 minute video in a moment. It's probably going to bring some tears to your eyes. Okay? I'm going to tell you what it's about. It's a song written by a guy named Chuck DeFontis out of Maryland. And when I saw this song, I'm getting goosebumps literally right now, just getting ready to talk to you about it. When I heard this song, he had just released it, and I reached out to him, and I said, can I ask you to give permission to use that song for a purpose? And he found out the purpose. He not only gave me permission to use the song, he gave me the rights to the song immediately. He took it off the album it was going to go on, and he gave me the rights. The song is called My Brother. And what I haven't shared with you is, 4 days ago, my brother turned 57, except he's forever too. Because at the age of 3 years old, or at the age of 2 years old, just a few weeks before his third birthday, he was murdered in front of me by one of our foster mothers, and I was almost killed with him. Now go back to thinking, you have a mother who lost one child to murder, gets a child back after 10 years in care and does what she did to me. So this song is about him and I. Some of it's not where I am today, it's where I originally was the song, but that's what it's about. Once you get,
I'm not finding it.
let's look up Stecker Krasner.
Stecker Krasner.
K-R-A-S-N-E-R, please, thank you.
Should we shut the lights again? Or?
No, those are off, those are fine enough. It's more the music itself. But it's about this, and what I wanted to ask you to do when you're done listening to this and watching, you'll see a lot of things. I have a petition that I've had on social networking for almost a decade now, begging for 10,000 signatures. We just broke 6,000 and change. I need to get that to 10,000 so that way we can. Yeah, but 10 years, that's a lot.
For 10
you know what's
years,
frustrating?
yeah.
You know what's frustrating? They get on there and a whale jumps out of the water and ends up on the beach and they have 100,000 signatures and they get money galore. Here's another thing, and that's the truth. When it comes to raising money and funds to protect children, child abuse gets 1/10 of the support that animal abuse and animal friends 1/10. And I proved it in my own social networking. Now I've been social networking. Real social networking is what we're doing. This cyber stuff is, it's cyber. It's not really real. But I've been on social networking doing the cyber since back in the day. I'm going to date myself again. Prodigy was out. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s. Okay, I've been on there, and what I did is I built my network. I've been blessed to build a network there. I thought everybody was focused on child welfare. This is what we wanted. And as it turns out, I tested it. When Facebook came out about a year or two into Facebook, and I do it every couple years since, I'll put a picture of an abused child and a picture of an abused animal side by side. And I'll see which one gets most of the results.
Oh my God.
In an organization, where a group of people where I thought were like-minded or were concerned with kids, I still get the same ratio, 10 to 1, the animal gets more support. We have got to stop that. Kids are valuable. When you get a chance, look up the UNCRC, it's United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. It is a treaty that was put together in the late 80s, giving children their birthright, which they should have anyway. We shouldn't need a treaty. Like all of us, we should have what we're given, our natural-born rights. What Mother Nature gave us. Nature is the answer. My buddy Corey, he's dead on, spot on with that. And but it gives children rights. Here's an interesting thing. 4 years ago, there was only 3 members of the United Nations that hadn't signed off on that treaty yet. East Africa, Somalia, and the United States. We're in really good company, right? Today, in 2021, there's only one country that still has not signed off on that. It's the country you're sitting in. The country you're sitting in will not give children the right to speak for themselves. Because family rights groups are fighting parents' rights, mom, dad, sister, mom's rights, dad's rights, grandparents' rights. They're saying, no, it takes away my ability to parent. You know what it takes away? Your ability to abuse a child and hide it. That's what it does. Because it gives a child. I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, I've been to other places and studied what was going on where they did pass this. Are there failures in it? 110%. But the bottom line, the kids can say, hey, this is going on to me, and their voices are heard. Not the kids get hit and nothing happens. As I close out, you ready to start that?
Ready to go.
Okay. So, as I'm getting ready to close out, I want to thank all of you. I want to give you one more scenario. That's okay. Yeah, go ahead. That was my brother telling me, shut up.
One of us lays here in peace now. The other one stands here in pain. And I know your battles have ended, but my war is just underway. The one I can't fight. My brother, I'll miss you tonight. One of us lays here sleeping. The other one is dying for sleep. I only wish we could trade places, and it would be you on your knees. I can't make this right. My brother, I miss you tonight and tomorrow and forever, until I fall to your right. My brother, I'll miss you tonight. I can't make this right. My brother, I'll miss you tonight and tomorrow and forever, until I fall to your right. My brother, I'll miss you tonight. One of our bodies is resting, the other one tends in despair. And I've looked to the clouds for some answers, cried while the earth holds you there. 6 feet from light. My brother, I'll miss you tonight. My brother, I'll miss you tonight. My brother, I'll miss you this life.
If you have an opportunity, go on your phones, Google search my last name Stecker and then Krasner, Krasner. The first thing that will come up is the petition I was telling you about. Please read through it. There's a lot more information. The woman that killed my brother, I found out in my 30-year investigation, killed 3 other kids, responsible for at least 2 other kids, possibly a 3rd child. We're still working on that investigation. Her name appears on 3 death certificates. She never saw a courtroom. She died in the mid-90s. And I was lucky enough, you talk about God's grace and mercy, I was lucky enough to find out she was dying just a few months before she died, and I reached out to her and offered my olive branch of forgiveness. Because no matter what she did here on earth, God forgave me for everything I did. Why shouldn't I forgive her? And I told her sister to tell her, because she couldn't speak to me, she was in the hospital, let her know that I hope when I get to one of those pearly gates, and I hear God say to me the words I long to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, I'll enter in, and her soul will be there that I can greet. Forgive one another, love one another. Thank you so much.